Do you ever find it hard to pick a restaurant for dinner or buy an item at a store without looking at a whole lot of customer reviews first? Does the thought of making a huge decision like where to live, what new job to accept, what direction to take your business in, make you a little bit uncomfortable? In short, do you have a hard time making decisions? We're all faced with difficult decisions that we dread making sometimes, but many of us struggle with indecision more than others do, sometimes due to self-esteem, upbringing, or personality, and that indecision can really affect the success and growth of your business. Making bad choices for your business is a concern, yes, but making an uninformed decision, making a decision in a rush, or making no decision at all can also have a negative impact on your business. So if you struggle with indecision in your business, this one's for you. Let's get into it. If you're new here, my name is Kari, and I help successful businesses with messy metrics clean them up so they can make data-driven decisions that will help them to grow more easily and more efficiently. There are often a few problems that I hear come up when someone is struggling when it comes to making decisions in their business. The first problem, not knowing what to base your decisions on. There's nothing wrong with making choices based on your gut. Instinct and intuition shouldn't be discounted, but it's not sustainable or efficient if you make all of your decisions based on gut feeling alone. Our feelings can sometimes be confusing or lead us astray, and it can be really hard to communicate them to other people on our team too. And that's where indecision can loom large. If you can't make decisions based on your instincts, what resources should you use? What can you trust? Well, you know what I'm going to say, data is key here. It is central to so many of the decisions that you make for your business. If you're not used to checking in on the numbers in your business, or if you don't think that you're a numbers person, that can make indecision even worse. And as I said in a previous video about using data effectively, you can't get better at numbers if you never actually start. I guarantee that the more you use the data to make decisions, the easier it gets. With consistency, you'll start to be able to identify trends so much more readily, and you'll know exactly where to find the data that will help to support you as you work through the decisions that you need to make. The second problem that can be present is a lack of confidence in your decision-making skills. The more you put off making decisions, the more you lose confidence in yourself and your abilities. You might think, I'm not good at this, so I'm going to avoid it, or I'll ask somebody else just to take over. And that cycle repeats and repeats. You may think there aren't any big consequences to this kind of indecision, but there definitely are. Every time you let indecision take over, a choice is being made for you. Time runs out, money gets wasted, a competitor takes your opportunity, a client chooses someone else. And even if you don't feel confident, try taking action until you believe that you are. Sometimes a change in perspective can make a huge difference. The third problem that can keep you stuck in indecision, if you're afraid to make the wrong choice. Fear is a huge factor in indecision. Whether it stems from a lack of confidence or a lack of experience making choices based on data or anything else, I encourage you to get to the root of that problem. Maybe you overthink your choices and get caught up in the what ifs, or you're just scared of making the wrong choice. Maybe you listen to too many people's opinions on what to do and you always worry about the worst case scenario. Does that sound familiar? That is definitely something that I'm working on too. Once you've narrowed down the cause of your decision-making fears, you can take steps to help combat it. So for example, if you know that you tend to take advice from too many people, allow yourself to ask for opinions from only a trusted few. Or if you get anxious thinking about all of the what ifs, use your data to show you the facts on what's actually happening in your business and what the expected results will be. And then if you've already done everything you can based on data and facts, then factor in your gut. Remember, your instincts are valid and should not be ignored. Now that we've looked at what can cause us to get stuck in indecision, it's also important to remember the impact that putting off decisions can have. There are lots of ways your business can be impacted by indecision, but let's quickly touch on three. First, you might miss out on awesome opportunities for growth and improvement. This could look like missing an opportunity for a partnership or a speaking engagement, or delaying a decision on which platforms you should focus your marketing efforts on, or putting off launching a new product that you've been dreaming about bringing to the market. Second, analysis paralysis completely kills your momentum. When you're making decisions and continually moving forward, it is amazing how much you can accomplish in a very short period of time. A saying that I've heard often is that it's really difficult to steer a bike that isn't moving. When we get stuck on making a decision, no matter how big or how small, it's like trying to balance a bike when you're not actually pedaling. So try to find ways to continue to take action. It might mean that you don't solve your dilemma all at once, but maybe you can break down a big decision into a few smaller ones, or set a deadline for yourself to do the research that you need to do and then make a final decision. Third, indecision can cause a lot of delays in completing projects and reaching goals. Not only is this frustrating for you, but it can also really frustrate your team and lower overall morale. And don't forget the cost that can add up when it comes to both resources and time. And all of this can trickle down to your customers or clients and have a detrimental impact on your relationships there, as those kind of delays can really erode confidence in the product or the service that you're providing. By talking about indecision and maybe figuring out why indecision affects you so much as a business owner, I hope you're feeling a little relieved and now have some strategies to try. As we've covered, indecision can stem from a lack of knowledge or trust in your resources, a lack of confidence in yourself, or a fear of making the wrong choices. One thing that you can start doing now to combat your indecision, no matter what the cause, is to use your data. Use it to research and inform the decisions that you make. Use it to build up your confidence in decision making. Use your data to make an educated choice rather than an uninformed decision or no decision at all. It really can be difficult to overcome indecision, especially if you tend to overthink or get anxious when making choices. But remember, you're not alone as you walk through this. You might be surprised to know that other business owners struggle with these exact same things, and it is possible to start being more decisive and confident in your skills as a business leader. You just need to get started and then keep practicing. So let me know in the comments below, are you an overthinker or do you like to make decisions as quickly as possible? Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.